So we have KNN for disease prediction. So the K nearest neighbor. So in the K nearest neighbor, you are the average of your 5 closest friends. So this K nearest neighbor is just a way whereby you predict or you classify observations. So based on the mathematical formula, you find the closest observations to them and you group them. So this is also used in classification and also used even in unlabeled data. So we want to predict a new patient disease status. We look at the key most similar patients. So we have a key. That key can be any number. And we use a particular formula to find the nearest neighbors to that particular key and we group it. And then we now use the majority vote to group. So how does the KNN actually works? First of all, you need to calculate the distance between your new patient and all training set patients. If you have a new patient and you want to calculate which group does it fall into, you need to calculate the distance between that new patient and all training patients. Then you find the K nearest neighbor. Then you take the majority vote of their disease status and you assign that status to that particular new patient. So after taking the K nearest neighbor, maybe you are having 2 classification, that is feeling fine, or maybe diabetes and no diabetes. So I'm going to do that out of maybe 5 of them. If you take 5 nearest neighbors, which of them have the highest? That maybe the number of people that are diabetic in those 5 are more than those that are not diabetic. Then you now take what diabetic to be the status of the new patient. So this is how K nearest neighbor works. So what actually makes patients similar? What makes a patient to be the neighbor of other patients? So we usually measure similarity using the distance in feature space. So this is the most common metric in Euclidean distance. So let's say we have these following example features: age, BMI, blood pressure and cholesterol level, and blood glucose. So the features should actually be on similar scales. So age 20 to 80 and cholesterol 150 to 300 have different ranges. So we need to standardize them first. So understanding distance in KNN, features should be on similar scales, age 20 to 80. So in K nearest neighbors, we want to make sure that your features should be on similar scales. So age 20 to 80 and cholesterol 150 to 200 should have different ranges. So we need to standardize them first. So we want to make sure that you standardize your age and you also standardize your cholesterol level to avoid outliers. So choosing your K, we have the number of neighbors, the K dilemma. So 1K is going to be very close to 1, then very small k. So usually want small k to be high value, not 1. So high variance, low bias, very sensitive to noise. We also tend to risk overfitting, and also decision boundaries complex and wiggly. So, and when you have k is equal to 100, there's also another problem. It's too much, whereby you have low variance, likely to have high bias, and also overly smooth predictions, and also chance for underfitting. It may also miss important patterns. So the optimal k usually suggested to be between 3 to 20, which you can determine through cross validation. So what are the strengths of K nearest neighbor? So one of the strengths of K nearest neighbor is simple and intuitive to understand. So K nearest neighbor is simple and intuitive to understand. It requires no training phase. So it is a lazy learning. You don't need to have a training phase. It naturally handles multi-class problems and also non-parametric. So no assumptions about the data distribution are needed. And can capture complex decision boundaries too also. So what are the strengths and limitations of the K nearest neighbor? So first of all is that it is computationally expensive for large data sets because you have to calculate all distances. So this is very important. So in KNN, you need to calculate the all distances, which makes it computationally intensive. Then it is also sensitive to irrelevant features. So features might be irrelevant, but will be contributing to what you have when you're trying to classify your observations. It also requires feature scaling. As I mentioned earlier on when I was giving an example of age and BMI. So for you to be able to use KNN, you need to scale all your features, your categorical features. And also it is sensitive to high dimensional data. So high dimensional data is usually data that has a lot of features or dimensions. And also it does not provide insight into feature importance. So what are the advantages? So when you have a moderate size data set, thousands of patients, not millions, the KNN is a very good algorithm. Also, when your interpretability of individual prediction is more important than global model understanding. So also as a baseline model, you can use to compare against more complex methods, and also when your decision boundaries are likely to be complex and also non-linear. So example whereby KNN is used in healthcare, we have diabetes prediction. These are usually used based on patient vitals. And you also have disease classification from clinical measurements. You can use KNN. And also patient similarity matching for treatment recommendations. You can also use the KNN. So find out which patients will have a similar treatment to also another patient.